Yay! Okay, wow. Trying to get this tripod to be straight. Hope that's straight enough. Oh, guys, I'm excited to share the progress on my knitting project with you. I have put in, I've actually been logging my time and running a stopwatch. I haven't added it all up yet for where I'm at so far, including the times where I had to tink some things out because I wasn't reading the instruction correctly, and therefore I wasn't counting correctly. But I have so far at least 8 clock hours into this project. I've used probably half of the first ball of yarn, and I'm really excited. I really am liking this project, and I'm excited to talk with you about some of the things that I'm learning and that I'm observing. So if you're new here, I am Susie Quillen. I am the Empress of Yarn here at Perfectly Knotty, and I am your stitching coach. So together we're going to learn how to make beautiful, fun, and amazing stuff. So we'll start with a little recap for those of you who haven't yet watched the previous video. So I'm going to recommend that you do that. You can just subscribe to this channel, go back to the channel page, and find the previous video. So I am, while my computer is still in the repair shop, and it will be until Monday or Tuesday, I am knitting this seamless vest from this book called Finish Free Knits by Karen Tendike. The link for that is in the description here and in the other video and it goes to my Amazon store. Currently on Amazon, availability is limited, and I talked a little bit about that in the first video, so I won't go over that again. But if you can't get it, if you can't find it to purchase, consider checking with your local library. I will always advocate for the library. I am knitting this vest using Rowan Soft Yak DK, which we talked a little bit about yesterday, or not yesterday, but on Cast On Day, we talked about it being a cotton yak blend and a chainette construction, which I really, really love. And I'm going to show you in a minute how it's working up. This is a DK. The pattern calls for a worsted, but my gauge is working out great. So if you are wondering about changing yarns for a project, gauge, 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 gauge. Don't ask me always. I mean, I can give you some pointers, but ultimately it comes down to knowing your gauge, being able to read the information on your yarn ball wrapper that tells you what size needles and approximately what gauge the manufacturer gets with those needles with this yarn. And then you can make a few adjustments from there based on your own personal tension and the pattern and some other things. So I was very, very happy that this gauge worked out good for me. So I'm happy about that. So that's kind of, hopefully kind of brings you up to speed a little bit. The pattern started with a provisional cast on. We talked about that a little bit. I did not demonstrate it because I can't set up my whole recording situation. I only have my phone right now while my computer is being repaired, but I'm going to show you what that looks like. Instead of using a waste yarn, I used an extra circular needle, and here it is right there. So these provisional stitches are ready to go. I don't have to pull them out and pick them back up and start. I'm good to go. And I just have some point protectors here that keep it from sliding off the ends. You'll notice I have stitch markers in here. And that is because when I was casting on, I wanted to make sure I did not lose count. And so every 20, I popped a stitch marker in there. That way I didn't have to keep counting, which is, I think, pretty handy. And then and then when I go to work that up, and then I just take them out as I go. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the construction of this. All right, here we go. So we started with our provisional cast on, and we knit up a certain number of rows, and then we do in stockinette, and then we do 1 row of reverse stockinette, and then we do the same number of rows. So here's the middle. This is the center back right here, and it ends up looking like this. And the reason we do that is so that way when we go to make the hem, we fold it right along that purl bump, row of purl, and it will fold and make a really nice, crisp, and pretty hem. And then we did short rows, and these are going to be the pockets. So this is the center back, and this is the, there we go, and it will come around like this to the center front, and then this will be the front pocket over here. And so here are some of the things that I've observed so far in this project. I did find a typo in the book. On the left pocket, short row 4, it says to knit when you're, it's the last one of these last rows here, but it calls for doing it in a knit, but you are actually on the wrong side of the fabric, and that did not match what happened on the right side pocket, so it needed to actually say purl. So I actually wrote in my book right here, I made a note to myself, so for future I will not be so confused when I go look at it. If you own your book, don't be afraid to make notations like that, okay? It's your book. And if your grandkids end up someday owning your books, they will thank you for making some notes in there. Okay, so that was the first thing that I noticed. The other thing that I observe, and this is an observation about my personal knitting. If you're familiar with Alice in Wonderland, she says, I often give myself very good advice, but I very seldom follow it. Yeah, and that's going to be me. So, 2 things that I failed to do in this project, and I will correct after we record this video and I prep for the next section. 1, I did not put in a lifeline. When I finished this section, the first section where I'm making the hem, I should have put a lifeline in, and that would have made that a lot easier. And then also, as I did the short rows for the pockets, in between each change in directions, I could have put a lifeline in, and that might have helped in some of my unknitting I needed to do, because I read the instructions incorrectly, because you go up to 2 stitches before your wrap and turn. So you wrap and turn, and you go back, and then when you come back again, you stop 2 stitches before. If this is the wrap and turn, 2 stitches before, and then you wrap and turn this one. So you end up with a wrap and turn and a knit, and then another wrap and turn. And I was reading it wrong. So I could have just frogged that right out if I'd been a smart girl and put in a lifeline like I always tell you to do. So take a lesson from me. Do as I say, not as I do. And that brings me to the other thing that I did not do that I often encourage people to do. And I think in this case in particular, I would have really enjoyed doing this. I wish I would have started not with my good fancy yarn, but with a yarn from my stash that I would personally consider an inconsequential yarn. Um, Maybe an acrylic that I could use to meet gauge. And then I could have made this in the smallest size. And then the finished thing could have gone to one of my granddaughters who would love it and be so excited about it. And so that was kind of a little bit of a fail, an emotional fail for me that I missed that opportunity. Not that I couldn't still go back and knit this again for them, but you know, that's just, I don't know. We'll see how it goes after I do this. So those are my up to this point observations. If you have not watched video 1, I want to encourage you to go back and watch that as well. I also want to pause right here and ask you to please subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell and even comment, because when you comment, that alerts all of those algorithms we always hear something about. It tells the algorithm that this is interesting, and that will tell the algorithm to show it to other people. And that helps me continue to make videos to help you. Because the truth of the matter is this is free content for you to watch, but it's not free for me to make. And every time somebody watches one of my videos all the way through, I earn about 1 penny. So that helps. They all add up eventually. Eventually they add up. All right. So this is what we have to do next. The instructions say for joining the hem to carefully remove that waste yarn and put all of those provisional stitches onto the smaller size, in this case the size 4 knitting needle. But since I did my provisional cast on onto an extra circular needle, I don't have to do that. You can also just do this onto a cable for your interchangeable knitting needles and just put caps on the end, so that works as well. And then all you have to do is screw your knitting needle tip on and you're ready to go. Super snazzy. All right, I dropped a knitting needle. Hold on a second. Okay, back. All right, so, and by the way, we talked about this in the other video. This needle right here is my grandmother's. This was my grandmother's as well. They're both, this is the size 5 and this is the size 4. Isn't that fun? Okay, and what I'm going to do, so you can see right here that I have this shape going on. These triangles on the ends are the pockets, and I still have stitches that are live in the middle, and that's the center back. And I am going to, and I need another size 5 needle to do this join, and so we're going to use this one. I won't knit the whole thing with it. I'm just going to do a couple, it'll end up being a couple of rows of knitting, and then I will transition everything back to this one most likely. I like the cable on this better, but I do happen to prefer metal needles, so I'm going to reserve the right to change my mind once I get going with this next part of the project. I've used about, up to this point, I have used about a half of this first ball of yarn, and this is the size small. So, all right, let's see. I'm going to turn it this way. It did say to cut the yarn after I did all the short rows for this pocket, which I haven't done yet. I'm going to do that now. Cut my yarn and just secure that right there. All right. Now it says, let's look at this. With the wrong side facing and on the provisional edge, so you can see I'm working here, and this is the pocket, so this is the provisional edge. It says, okay, use the larger needle, that's this one right here. Join the yarn and knit and purl 37 stitches, because we are on the purl side of the fabric, so we will take this cap off. These cables are so springy. Do you have any of those old plastic cables? I have some that actually are the whole thing. It's the whole thing is a plastic or a nylon, the needle and everything. They're very, very grippy, and I have used them. Okay, so there'll be a lot of clacking around, I'm sure. I'd love to see your comments. I see we have some people that are watching, so I would love it if you would just say hello while I'm getting set up here. I'm just going to join my yarn, and we're going to purl 37. Don't knit with your tail. Hold it out of the way. I've done that before, and it's very sad when that happens, so don't do that. All right. Oops. All right, where's this going to go? There we go. Oh, interesting. I have to take a look at this from the other side. Nope, that looks right. I'm going to have to adjust the tension on this row. I can tell already. Take these stitch markers out as I go. I have another video where I demonstrate. Oh, go back and look at the videos. I don't remember which video it is, but I do have a video where I demonstrate tightening up the tension in a row, which I will have to do with this provisional one. The stitches are turning out way more loose than I want them, and it's a little tedious and time consuming, but you just take the tip of a needle. Sometimes you need to use a crochet hook, and you just tighten that yarn up, but you got to start at the right end so that the excess yarn ends up where you want it, but it's very doable. And you can redistribute those stitches. And once I get a little bit here, I'm going to be able to hold this up and show you what I'm talking about. And I know this isn't the greatest angle for you to really be able to see what I'm doing. This would be something, ideally, it would be fun to do with it. 2 cameras, but alas, that is not in the cards for today. All right. By the way, if you have not gone over to the website and signed up for the email newsletter, I would like to encourage you to do that as well. All right, let's see if I can show you what's happening here. You can see that this row right under the needles is way taller. It's really, really loose. But I can fix that. I'm going to be able to, but I have to go all the way across this row and get all of it on, and then I will start at the other end and tighten it up, so that way this tail from the cast on is what gets this will get longer instead of it ending up with a big loop at the other end. So I may very well end up doing another video about that, but you can go check the video where I demonstrated that previously is, where is that one? That one. Oh, it has to do with that rainbow hoodie that I knit last fall, I think I knit that one. All right, I have to count these stitches and see where I'm at. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 30, 31, I need 37, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37. All right, now what does it say over here? I can't tell if anybody is commenting. I don't think so. I would love it if you said hello. Let me know. I see one thumbs up though. That's pretty awesome. There's super thanks down there, which is really cool. I love it when you guys do that. It just feeds my spirit. All right, let's see. Okay, now we're at the part where we're going to make the hem at the center back. And this will be a little bit more awkward for me to demonstrate. Let's see if I can turn sideways and see if I can show you. So here is the needle that I'm knitting onto this needle. This is the needle that's holding the provisional cast on. And this is the needle that is holding the right side fabric, preparing for the body. So this will be the inside, this will be the outside. I've folded this right along that purl line I was showing you earlier. And we have to fold this up and slide the needles all the way up here. Without dropping any of those ones over there. And now, there's kind of a little Edward Scissorhands action going on there. Hi, Dwayna. Oh, I'm so glad that you did catch me live today. That's fun. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to, essentially, this is called a 3-needle bind off. And so what we do, see if I can get over here, we are going to go knitwise into the stitch that's on the first needle, and then we're going to go knitwise into the stitch on the needle behind. It also helped. We are actually not doing it that way. Hold on, let me look at this again. Hold this front provide. It does say to knit them together. I need to go look at the picture because I think they should be purled together. So let's go look at the photo, because I noticed this happens because I'm working, and the reason I say this is because I'm technically working on the purl side of the fabric. Well, no, I'm not. I am working on the knit side of the fabric on this side. Okay, we're good. Whew. This is why we have to check these things, you guys. And it's not really about second guessing yourself. It is about double checking. Okay. And especially when you're doing something that has some origami action going on where we're folding things up and around together. All right, we're going to go and look at that again. And because I just purled 37 stitches, so my brain was in purl. All right, here we go again. We're going to go knitwise into the stitch on the first needle and knitwise into the stitch on the back needle. And we're actually going to take the yarn to the knit side. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I got to get this to untwist. There we go. Oh my goodness sakes. There we go. And we just knit those two together. That's it. And we just do that all the way across. In this case, this center back is 72 stitches. I've already counted it several times, so I know that that is accurate. Again, it's a little bit of a fiddly little thing. Dwayna's asking, how are you doing? I, Dwayna, am doing just fine. I am just fine. My world is a little kittywampus not having my computer and not being able to do some things in the order that I normally would, but it's also allowing me to think about things outside the box a little bit. Sometimes we do need to have our routines upended a little bit. Called earlier to get a status update on my computer and was told that it probably would be Monday or Tuesday. Today's Friday. And it probably will be Monday or Tuesday before my computer is ready to be picked up, which is a little bit of a bummer. I did miss one. I did miss a Zoom meeting for my mastermind group this week, so that was kind of a bummer. It's a highlight. Those are highlights of my schedule when those social hours pop up and I get to chat with my colleagues. I really enjoy that, and it encourages me and inspires me and holds me accountable. So that's how we do that join, and I'm going to pause a little moment here so I can hold it up and show you what's happening. It's a little bit awkward for me to hold it up like this to show you how it works as I'm doing it. So, let's see here. This is what it's looking like, and this is where the pocket will fold up right here, like that. Very cute, and I like the way that the pocket, you bind off on the purl side, but you bind off knit-wise, so it gives it a little extra cuteness going on right there. So there you go. That's how it goes. And this is all now joined together. We have this cute little hem right here. You can see right in here. Here's the little, I could run elastic through there if I wanted to, but I won't. So there you go. And then I can see, I'll be able to see in a little bit about adjusting those stitches right there to make sure that they are more evenly distributed, the ones that I told you were looking a little bit loose, and it'll all work out fine. So there you go. Let's recap my observations. Even in a pattern that is published by a legitimate publisher, like these are from, this pattern book is from Interweave, is the publisher, and this designer has, I think she has 3 or 4 full-fledged books with Interweave. Interweave is closed. Keep that in mind. So if you want to order this book, you can go to the link for it in the description. It will take you to the Amazon store. If that book is not available through Amazon, consider checking with your local library. Consider checking on eBay or thrift books or any other online book buying sources to see if you can find it. I love the idea of checking it out from your library, because then you can just do the one pattern in there that you want to do. Or if you look at it and you decide that there's a bunch of patterns in it that you like, then you could consider going and searching out to purchase it if you want to, or you can just check it out again. I do that. I have several books that I have a tendency to just check out from the library over and over. It's a taxpayer paid resource, so we should utilize it, because if we don't utilize the libraries, they're going to take them away. So use your library, okay? Use your library. They do awesome stuff, and they even have a lot more resources than just printed books. My local library has a crazy amount of resources. And if you don't know what your library has, go down to the library and talk to your librarian. Tell them what you do, what you're all about, and ask them what resources. Some libraries even have, I think there's one back east. I want to say it's in, I don't know where it is now. It's back east in Philadelphia area, somewhere in Massachusetts, maybe. I don't know. But they actually have in their lending library not just books, but you can borrow things, tools, and sewing machines and other snazzy stuff. So go check these resources out and find out what's available for you. Okay, two, I didn't read and understand the instructions very well to start with. And I'm wishing now that I had started, instead of starting with my good yarn to make the vest that I'm wanting, I'm wishing I would have done a test project with a less important yarn. And then I could have had a gift to give to one of my granddaughters. So think about that. When you're coming up against a pattern that's unfamiliar, a designer that's unfamiliar, a construction technique that's unfamiliar, please consider making a practice project with a yarn that doesn't feel as consequential to you. This is where my old stash of acrylic yarns are perfect, because if it goes to my granddaughters who are going to take it to school, throw it off on the ground on the playground, lose it, who knows what's going to happen to it. It is less crucial to me. In that case, I am making the object as a learning tool for me to learn and understand the pattern. The byproduct of that is a cool thing that I can give to my grandkids. So let's work together to try to remember that. And I need to maybe make myself a sticky note to remind myself to do that. So my other note to self is that I did not insert a lifeline in a couple of places that I'm wishing I would have. And I tell you guys all the time, use your lifelines. That's what they're for. And I didn't. I just got excited and was sitting on my comfy chair in the living room watching some kind of Nat Geo show about archaeology with my husband, and didn't say, hey, can we pause so I can go get some stuff? Could have. So those are some of the things that I am really in particular noting. I hope that little bit of a demonstration of the 3 needle bind off to join the hem, because now these stitches are all still live. So it's not really a bind off, is it? It's not really a 3 needle bind off, but it's a 3 needle join. Joining the stitches from these 2 needles into one set of stitches on this needle. And so I hope that little bit of a demonstration was helpful. If you have other questions about this project, put them down below. I will answer them. No promise as to when, because without my computer, I don't get notifications in the same way. I'm not seeing things in the same way. So, and then when I get my computer back next week, I'm probably going to have 300 emails to sort through and clean up and get myself back on track. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that, even just from going on vacation. So, oh, Dwayna, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And again, you like what I'm teaching you? You like being supported in this way? Please support me by subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, even those super chats, and those thanks. There's a thanks button down there where you can just send me a cup of coffee, and that'll fuel me up. I run on protein and caffeine, you guys. So that's my story for today. I am going to go and finish this row, and I am going to see if I can set my phone camera up later to see if I can get a good video of adjusting the tension on this, because there are both knit and purl stitches that are going to be impacted by this, and I think that will be a really good and helpful demonstration for you guys. So I appreciate you. I really, really do. Thank you for joining me today. Again, I'm Susie Quillen. This is Perfectly Knotty. I am your stitching coach. So go make beautiful things, okay? I'll talk to you next time. Don't forget to watch for the announcements for the next part 3 on this one. All right. See ya.